Hi everyone. I'm Dudu from Susan's family. Today, I'll teach you how to make a Zongzi Earphone case, Abalone seafood version and 8 treasure grains version. The Earphone case is divided into the main part, the Zongzi Leaf, accessories, and assembly. Start by crocheting the main part, then crochet the Zongzi Leaf. Next, make the accessories. Finally, assemble everything together. These two Earphone case versions are slightly different only in the accessories, but the rest of the parts are identical. First, let's learn how to crochet the main part. Before we start, let's take a look at the chart. Our plus number represents the round number. The column for stitch instructions indicates the stitch patterns needed when crocheting that particular round, as well as the increases and decreases situation. The total stitches column shows the total number of stitches for that particular round. After finishing crocheting, the stitch techniques used for the main part include X single crochet, V single crochet increase, W3SC in 1, a single crochet decrease, MSC3 tog, and SL slip stitch. Below, please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. To make it easier for everyone to see clearly, I will use cotton yarn for this demonstration, and the colors are random for specific yarn. For color schemes and crochet hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. Start with an Ajish chart magic ring. Then work the first round. R1 is 6x. The number before X indicates how many single crochets you need to make. Here it means to work 6 single crochets. This means you will work 6 single crochets into the magic ring. Begin with a chain 1 as the turning chain for the single crochet. This turning chain is not marked in the chart. In reality, when crocheting in rounds, you need to work a turning chain at the beginning of each round. The turning chain does not count as a stitch. You can tighten it up. Then start working single crochets. Place a stitch marker on the first stitch to mark it. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a paperclip or safety pin as an alternative. Now let's take a look at the first single crochet worked with the original yarn. At the edge stitches here, there will be small gaps like these. Below the small gap, there will be a little hole. This is the first stitch. Place the stitch marker on this little hole. Then continue with single crochets. After completing the last single crochet, make a mark on the stitch. After that, close the magic ring. Tighten the yarn tail. The loop is now closed. Then, in the first single crochet stitch of this round, finish with a slip stitch. That is, you crochet at the place marked by the first stitch marker. The slip stitch is completed there. This is the chain formed by the slip stitch. It doesn't count as one stitch. You need to tighten it. The slip stitch is not indicated in the chart. In reality, when crocheting in rounds, always finish by joining with a slip stitch and tighten it. That completes the first round. Now let's check the stitch count. Each stitch represents one stitch. Start counting from the stitch marker position. Count all the way to the second stitch marker position. There are a total of 6 single crochet stitches in this round. Next, let's take a look at what the first round looks like when completed with the original yarn. You can also count the stitches by counting these raised bumps on the surface. Start counting from the first stitch marker position. One bump represents one stitch. Count all the way to the second stitch marker position. There are a total of 6 bumps here. This means you have crocheted 6 stitches. This is the method for counting stitches. Move on to the second round. R2 is 6V. The number before the V indicates how many single crochet increases to work in a round. This indicates that you will work 6 single crochet increases continuously. Make 1 chain as your turning chain. Let me emphasize this again. At the start of each round, you need to crochet a turning chain. I won't repeat this in the following steps. Crochet 1 single crochet increase in the first stitch of the previous round. That is, where you insert your hook for the slip stitch. Crochet 2 single crochets here. Place a marker on the first stitch. As you crochet, place the starting tail above the hook. Weave in the ends as you go along. Insert the hook into the same stitch, and crochet a single crochet. This completes the single crochet increase. Continue to make a single crochet increase in the next stitch on the left. The second single crochet increase is now completed. For the rest of this round, work 1 single crochet increase into each stitch from the previous round. Continue crocheting the remaining single crochet increases. Place a stitch marker on the last stitch. After completing, check the number of stitches. Finally, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Be sure to pay attention. At the end of each round, you must join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. This completes the second round. Note that the excess yarn tail from the starting chain doesn't need to be cut off yet. Leave it as is for now. We will consider the side without the yarn tail as the right side of the entire piece. All subsequent work will be done on the right side. Next, we will crochet the third round. R3 is X, V, X, W, times 3. Parentheses indicate a sequence to be repeated as a group. X times indicates the number of times to repeat the pattern. Start with 1 chain as the turning chain. Then crochet 1 single crochet. One single crochet increase. Then crochet another single crochet, followed by 1 SC3 in 1. That means crocheting 3 single crochets in the same stitch. This completes the SC3 in 1. This completes one group of X, V, X, W. Repeat this group 3 times for the round. Crochet one more group. The second group is now completed. One group remains. Everyone should finish according to the previous demonstration. After completing the last stitch, check the stitch count. Then join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. This completes the third round. When counting rounds, you can count the raised textures. 1 raised texture, 2 raised textures, 3 raised textures. Now a total of 3 rounds have been crocheted. This is the method for counting rounds. Next, let's take a look at the original yarn after completing 3 rounds. There are these circular raised textures on the surface. When counting rounds, simply count these raised textures. For rounds 4 through 15, just crochet the corresponding stitches while referring to the chart. Let me explain here. R10, even 5-7x in the chart means to work 1 single crochet into each stitch of the previous round. R12, R15, even 6-3x means, starting from round 12, work 1 single crochet into each stitch. Each round will have 63 stitches. Continue crocheting until the end of round 15. Pay attention while crocheting. Don't forget to crochet the turning chain and slip stitch. For each round, place a stitch marker on the first and last stitch. This will help prevent adding or missing stitches. After completing, check the number of stitches. Continue using the method you've learned before. Refer to the chart. Finish crocheting these rounds accordingly. This is what it looks like after completing 15 rounds. Next, start round 16. Make 1 chain as your turning chain. Then work 12 single crochets. After finishing, complete 1 single crochet decrease. In the left stitch, first make 1 incomplete single crochet. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. The incomplete single crochet is now done. Next, in the adjacent stitch, make another incomplete single crochet. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook once. The single crochet decrease is now completed. Then work 7 single crochets. One 2x, 7x is now completed. Work another group. First, make 12 single crochets. Then work 1 single crochet decrease. Let me demonstrate it again. On the left 2 stitches, make 1 incomplete single crochet in each stitch. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook once. Another single crochet decrease is now completed. Continue to follow the chart for the remaining part. Finally, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. That's how you complete round 16. Now move on to round 17. Start with 1 chain as your turning chain. Then work 11 single crochets. Next, the chart shows a decrease of 3 single crochets into 1 stitch. In the left stitch, make 3 incomplete single crochets in sequence. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops in once. The decrease of 3 single crochets into 1 stitch is now done. Continue with 6 more single crochets. One 1x, M, 6x is now completed. Work 1 more group. Start with 11 single crochets. Then work a decrease of 3 single crochets into 1 stitch. Let me demonstrate it again. Work 1 incomplete single crochet in each of the 3 stitches on the left side. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook once. Another decrease of 3 single crochets into 1 stitch is now done. For the remaining part, continue following the chart. Finally, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Chain 1 to secure. Leave a yarn tail of 5 centimeters and cut the yarn. Round 17 is now completed. Place the yarn tail aside for now. Move on to round 18. Take the yarn in the same color as the main part. Locate the first single crochet of round 16. Draw the yarn through. Work 1 slip stitch on the left stitch. Leave the yarn tail on the inside. The slip stitches in this round don't need to be tightened. Work another slip stitch on the next stitch. This round corresponds directly to the stitches of round 16. Correspondingly make slip stitches all the way down. Everyone finish this round. After completing the last slip stitch, leave a yarn tail of 5 cm and cut the yarn. Pull the yarn tail inside the main part. Tie the 2 yarn tails together with a knot. Hide them along the texture. This completes round 18. The main part is now done. Next, let's learn how to make the Zongzi leaves. There are 2 parts, Zongzi Leaf 1 and Zongzi Leaf 2. Start with Zongzi Leaf 1. Work back and forth on the completed main part. The new stitches used are CH chain stitch, T half double crochet, F double crochet, Fa double crochet decrease, and Ta half double crochet decrease. Below, please watch me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Start with the first row. Face the opening slip stitch marks toward yourself. Position the yarn tail downwards. Next, locate round 16. The tip of the triangle at the top. That is, above the yarn tail. Find the mark of a 3SC and 1 on one side of the main part. Join the yarn in the first chain stitch to the left of this tip. Take out the corresponding color yarn. Draw the yarn through. The joining is now completed. Then work 2 chains. This counts as 1 stitch. On the second chain, pick up 2 strands and place a stitch marker. After crocheting 2 chains with the original yarn, pick the 2 strands on the right edge of the hook. Next, when you see K, it means skip the stitch without crocheting. Skip 1 chain on the left. Starting from the second one, work 55 single crochets evenly. You can hide the yarn tail as you crochet. After completing the single crochet, skip 1 stitch. Finally, the chart shows a half double crochet. Work 1 half double crochet. After completing it, place a stitch marker on the half double crochet stitch. That completes the first row. Now move on to the second row. Chain 2 as the turning chain. This counts as 1 stitch. Turn the work counterclockwise. Place a stitch marker on the second chain stitch. Pay attention after turning the piece. The stitch is located at the top left. Then skip one stitch. The turning chain corresponds to the last stitch of the previous row. Skip the first stitch and start from the second stitch. Then work one single crochet decrease. Continue crocheting according to the chart for the corresponding stitches. Keep going all the way down until the last single crochet decrease. After completing it, skip one stitch. Work 1/2 double crochet into the second chain of the turning chain. Place a stitch marker to mark the position after completing it. That's how you complete the second row. For the following third row, follow the demonstration of the previous row, and crochet according to the chart. Pay attention to placing stitch markers at the beginning and ending positions. Everyone finishes this row. This is what it looks like after completing 3 rows. Next, take a look at the following. This is how it looks when crocheted with the original yarn. Face the opening of the main part toward yourself. You'll see these indents on the surface of the fabric piece. Start counting the rows from the indent. This is the first row. The next indent will be the third row. Continue counting the rows using this method. Below, crochet the fourth row. Make 2 chain stitches to start. Place a stitch marker. Turn your work over. When you encounter a double crochet stitch below, work 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Pay attention not to crochet into the stitch under the turning chain. After completing, refer to the pattern, and work the corresponding stitch techniques. Keep crocheting until you reach right before the double crochet decrease. When you get to the corresponding position, skip one stitch, work 1 double crochet decrease. Start by working 1 incomplete double crochet, yarn over the hook, skip 1 stitch, insert your hook into the next stitch on the left. Draw the yarn through. Now you should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. 1 incomplete double crochet is now worked. Next, work another incomplete double crochet at the marked stitch position on the left. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook in once. 1 double crochet decrease is now completed. Place a marker on the stitch. This completes the 4th row. For the 5th row, work the corresponding stitch pattern using the same method as the 4th row. Finish with 1 double crochet decrease at the end. Let me demonstrate it again. Start by skipping 1 stitch, then, on the remaining 2 stitches, work 1 incomplete double crochet in each. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook in once. Another double crochet decrease is now completed. Skip 1 stitch at the end. This completes the 5th row. For the next rows, from the 6th to the 8th row, follow the chart and continue crocheting back and forth. Remember, these rows all start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. When crocheting, pick up 2 strands of yarn on the 3rd chain stitch to mark it. Everyone can follow the previous demonstration and refer to the chart to complete these rows. Now, for the 9th row, start with 2 chain stitches as the turning chain. Turn the work. Then skip 1 stitch. In the next stitch, crochet a half double crochet decrease. Start with an incomplete half double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. That completes 1 incomplete half double crochet. In the next stitch, crochet another incomplete half double crochet. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook. The half double crochet decrease is now completed. Continue crocheting the corresponding half double crochets. After finishing, make another half double crochet decrease. Let me demonstrate it one more time. On the left side, in the next 2 stitches, crochet 1 incomplete half double crochet in each stitch. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook. That's another half double crochet decrease completed. Skip 1 stitch again, end with 1 half double crochet. Crochet 1 chain to secure. Leave a yarn tail of 5 centimeters and cut the yarn. Pull tight. Hide the yarn tail inside the fabric. Row 9 is now completed. The Zongzi Leaf 1 is now finished. Next, we'll work on the Zongzi Leaf 2. Crochet back and forth on top of the Zongzi Leaf 1. Finally, sew together. Use the new stitch technique, WX front post single crochet. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Start by crocheting the first row, take the corresponding color yarn. Then, face the opening of the main part toward yourself. Ensure the slip stitch marks are facing up. That is, the position of the yarn tail at the end of the main part should be facing up. On the first row of the Zongzi Leaf 1, mark the middle 19 stitches with a stitch marker. The sample already has the markers placed. Then, join the yarn at the stitch marker on the right side. Insert the crochet hook from right to left into this single crochet. Hook the yarn out. Make 1 chain as the turning chain. Then work 1 front post single crochet into the same stitch. Insert the hook into the single crochet on the right side of where you joined the yarn. Pick up this single crochet. Exit on the left side. Work 1 single crochet. The braid on the upper right is its stitch position. Place a marker at the stitch position. Next, pick up the left single crochet. Work 1 front post double crochet for the single crochet. I'll demonstrate it again. Insert the hook from right to left. Work 1 single crochet. That completes another front post double crochet of the single crochet. Continue working corresponding front post double crochets for each single crochet. After completing the last front post double crochet of the single crochet, make a mark. That's how you complete the first row. Now, work on the second row. Chain 1 as the turning chain. The turning chain for the single crochet doesn't count as 1 stitch. Then, turn your work. Work 1 single crochet increase in the first stitch. Make a mark. Continue crocheting while following the chart. At the end, work 1 single crochet increase. That completes the second row. For the remaining rows, proceed similarly. All the stitch techniques and methods have been demonstrated before. Just refer to the chart and work back and forth with the corresponding stitches. Don't forget to mark the beginning and ending stitches on both sides. This will prevent adding or missing stitches. This could affect the appearance of the finished product. Everyone should crochet these rows until they're done. After completing the final stitch, chain 1 to secure it. Leave a yarn tail of 20 centimeters and cut the yarn. Once completed, the fabric will naturally curl. Next, we will sew together. Thread the yarn tail into a sewing needle. Match up the beginning and ending stitches of the last row. Use the whip stitch to sew them together. Pick up both loops of the third chain stitch from the turning chain, and insert the needle. Then pass through the last stitch on the other side. Continue to sew by matching each corresponding stitch position. Now we've reached the part where 3 single crochets are worked together as 1 stitch. pass through the front loop of each of these 3 stitches sequentially. That is, the strand closest to you. Once done, pull tight. Weave the yarn tail into the inside of the fabric piece. Tie a knot to secure it. Finally, hide the yarn tail within the fabric. Trim any excess yarn tails. That's how you sew it together. Make sure all other yarn tails are hidden as well. This completes the Zongzi Leaf too. Next, let's learn how to make the accessories. Start by dividing it into the limbs. Hanging string. Decorations. By button and facial expressions. Some accessories need to be crocheted first. Some accessories are pre-made or embroidered. After completing, assemble them. Let's start by learning the parts that require crocheting. Begin with the limbs. Each version has 4 identical fabric pieces. All start with a magic ring. Crochet into the magic ring. The method is similar to the first round of the main part. The swatch has already been crocheted in advance. After completion, leave a 15 cm yarn tail before cutting the yarn. Everyone can finish the remaining limbs using this method. Next, let's look at the hanging string. Simply crochet chain stitches to the corresponding length. Everyone, please crochet the hanging loop. Then, learn how to make the decorative abalone. Start with foundation chain. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. It consists of the abalone shell and the center. Use the new stitch technique. TW half double crochet, 1 stitch with 3 stitches. Now, let's show. First, crochet the first round of the abalone shell. Take the corresponding color yarn. Start with a chain stitch to the corresponding number of stitches. Below, Dow 2 appears. This means start crocheting from the second chain from the hook. Count back from the left side of the hook. First stitch, second stitch. This is the second to last stitch. Pick up the top loop of the chain, and crochet 1 single crochet into it. Then, pick up the half loop on the left side of the next chain, and crochet 1 half double crochet. Now we reach the last chain stitch. Crochet 1 single crochet with 3 stitches in 1 stitch. Then, pick up the other 2 strands on the left side of the chain. Crochet 1 half double crochet. Be mindful not to insert into the hole of the 3 stitches in 1. Finally, crochet 1 single crochet increase at the insertion point of the first stitch. After completing, join with a slip stitch on the first stitch. Pull tight. The first round is now completed. Move on to crochet the second round. Make 1 chain as your turning chain. Then, crochet 1 single crochet increase. Follow with 1 single crochet and another single crochet increase. Crochet 1/2 double crochet with 3 stitches and 1 stitch downward. This means crocheting 3 half double crochets in the same position. This completes the half double crochet 3 in 1. Continue crocheting while referring to the chart. At the end, crochet 1/2 double crochet 3 in 1. You will need to change colors for the next round. Change colors when doing the last half double crochet. When you reach the final stitch, start with an incomplete half double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. The incomplete half double crochet is now finished. Next, take the corresponding yarn for the next round. Hook out. This completes the final stitch, and the color change is also completed. Now slip stitch into the first stitch. Tighten. The second round is completed. Now start crocheting the third round. Start with 1 chain stitch, then make 1 slip stitch in the first stitch. There's no need to tighten the slip stitch. This completes one group. Now make another group. Start with 1 chain stitch, then make 1 slip stitch on the left stitch. Another group is now complete. Continue crocheting the remaining part using this method. After completing the last slip stitch, then crochet 1 chain stitch to secure. Leave a 20 cm tail and cut the yarn. Also leave a 5 cm tail for the remaining yarn and cut the yarn. This completes the abalone shell. Next, move on to the center part. The method is similar to that of the abalone shell. Take the corresponding yarn. Start with a foundation chain of the corresponding number of stitches. Then proceed from the second to last stitch. Work 2 single crochets into each half loop at the top of the chains, corresponding 1 by 1. When you encounter, it means to crochet in the same position. On the left chain, work 1 single crochet first. Then 1 chain stitch, followed by 1 slip stitch. And finally 1 chain stitch and 1 single crochet. This completes the content within the brackets. Lastly, on the remaining chains, pick up the other 2 strands of the chains and work 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet increase. Then slip stitch into the first stitch. Crochet 1 chain stitch to secure. Leave a 20 cm tail and cut the yarn. This completes the center part. Next, we'll assemble the pieces. Start with the limbs. Then assemble the hanging loop. After that, make the bow. Finally, sew on the button. Attach the facial expressions. Lastly, sew on the decorations. Below, please watch as I demonstrate the specific assembly method. Start by assembling the limbs. Take any one of the fabric pieces. Leave a tail at the end, thread it into a sewing needle. Place the opening of the Zongzi Leaf one facing you. Sew it onto the third row from the left side of Zongzi Leaf 1, along the edge of the triangle. Insert from the right side. Leave a 1 cm tail. Sew a few stitches inside the piece. Pay attention not to let the stitches show on the right side. Insert and sew from the inside. Tie off at the end. Glue the yarn tail down on the inside. Trim any excess yarn tails. That's how you attach one of the limbs. Sew another piece onto Zongzi Leaf 2. In a symmetrical position to the left side, sew the 2 remaining pieces onto the 8th round of the main part. In positions that correspond to the 2 pieces below. You can also sew them according to your own preference. Everyone sew the remaining limbs together. That concludes the assembly of the limbs. Next, we'll assemble the hanging loop. Take the closed ring and the chain stitch hanging string. Bend the chain stitch hanging string at the 2/3 mark. Fold the shorter end upwards. Fold the longer end upwards as well. At the same time, insert the longer end through another closed ring. Then pinch the bend. Wrap the longer end around the circle. You can wrap it tightly. About 5 circles. Then draw the yarn through the 2 loops at the bend. Tighten the loop on the left side. Adjust it a little. Finally, hide both ends in the wrapped area. Lastly, trim any excess yarn tails. Next, take out the flat nose pliers, and open the closed ring. If you don't have flat nose pliers, you can also use scissors to open it. Then put on one lobster clasp and one tag. The style of the tag here is random. After putting them on, insert the closed ring into the first round of the main part. Finally, pinch the closed ring tightly. That's how the hanging string is assembled. Below, we'll make a bow. Cut a 20 cm piece of corresponding yarn. Place the reverse side of the first row of the Zongzi Leaf 2, facing yourself. Glue the thread onto the dent of the fourth row, from the top of the Zongzi Leaf 1. Apply glue as you stick it. Symmetrically glue the left and right sides of the Zongzi Leaf 1. Glue both ends of the thread inside the Zongzi Leaf 1. That's how you stick one thread. Cut another 20 cm piece of yarn. Horizontally glue this thread at the same height, or slightly lower than the thread on the left side. Stick the ending inside the Zongzi Leaf 2 as well. Then cut another 20 cm piece of yarn. Tie a bow. Finally, glue the bow onto the thread of the Zongzi Leaf 2. Trim it a little. That's how you assemble the bow. Next, sew a button. Cut a 30 cm piece of sewing thread, insert it into the sewing needle. Align both ends. Wrap the Zongzi Leaf 2 around the main part. Sew the button onto the 9th round of the main part. At the position that corresponds to the edge, double crochet of the second to last row of the Zongzi Leaf 2. Finally, tie a knot inside. Weave in the yarn and fasten off. That's how you sew the button. Next, assemble the facial expressions. There are two expressions, facial expression 1 and facial expression 2. Facial expression 1 consists of dot eyes, a line mouth, and line blush. Facial expression 2 is made up of line eyes, a resin mouth, and line blush. You can refer to the finished product, or you can also attach the facial expressions based on your own preference. Let's start by installing the facial expression. Embroider the dot eyes. Cut a 30 cm segment of the corresponding yarn. Hold the yarn gently with your left hand. Use your right hand to pull out one strand. Thread the needle. On the side of the main part with the bow. Count from top to bottom. On the 7th round and 8th round, embroider 1 dot eye on each side of the middle 4 stitches. Start with the right dot eye. Draw through the middle of the stitches in the 8th round. Leave a little yarn tail on the inside. Then insert into the middle of the stitches in the previous round. Set the height for this dot eye. Then follow this line too. Embroider the curve on both sides. This part requires a bit more patience. After completing, skip about 4 stitches on the left and embroider another one. That completes the dot eyes. Tie a knot with the yarn tail inside. Then use the remaining strand of yarn, embroider the mouth in the middle between the two dot eyes. It should be 2 stitches in length. Then apply some glue with a needle in the middle of the mouth. Glue it down to secure. Finally, tie a knot with the yarn inside. Weave in the ends and fasten off. Cut a 20 cm piece of corresponding yarn. Add a position 1 stitch away from the dot eye outward. Embroider a group of lines for the blush. Be mindful to pass through from the inside. Make sure no sewing traces show on the right side. After completing, tie a knot inside. Apply some glue to secure the tail end. Finally, cut the yarn. Adjust it slightly. Repeat for the other side's line blush. Also embroider according to this method. That concludes the explanation for facial expression 1. Next, let's attach facial expression 2. Embroider the line eyes. Cut a 30 cm piece of corresponding yarn. Gently pinch the yarn with your left hand. Use your right hand to pull out 2 strands. Thread the needle. On the side of the main part with the bow. Count from top to bottom. On the 8th round. Embroider 1 line eye on each side of the middle 5 stitches. Start with the right side. Exit from the second stitch on the right side of these 5 stitches in the 8th round. Leave a little yarn tail inside. Insert into the middle position, covering about 2 stitches. Then exit again from this stitch in the 8th round. Go back and insert into the middle position once more. That completes 1 line eye. Embroider the left side line eye using the same method. Sew in a symmetrical position. Pay attention to the direction of the line eyes. Tie off the ending inside. Break the yarn and weave in the ends. Then glue a resin mouth in the middle of the line eyes. Apply glue and attach it. Press securely. Below, embroider a group of line blushes on each side of the line eyes. The method is the same as for the line blushes with facial expressions. Everyone can now embroider the line blushes. That concludes the explanation of facial expression 2. Next, we will sew on the decorations. Let's start with the abalone seafood decoration. I'll demonstrate using a small sample. Take the centerpiece and the abalone shell. First, sew the centerpiece onto the abalone shell. Leave a yarn tail and thread it into the needle. Sew along the stitches of the centerpiece. Make sure both the center and the abalone shell have the right side facing out. After sewing, tie off the yarn inside. Trim any excess yarn tails. Next, sew the completed abalone decoration onto the right side of the hanging string, between the first round and the 7th round. Use the reserved yarn tail from the abalone shell and thread it into the needle. You can use glue to temporarily secure it in place if needed. Then sew around the 2nd round of the abalone shell. Finally, tie off the yarn inside. Weave in and cut the yarn. That completes the sewing of the abalone decoration. Now, let's move on to attaching the little fish. Cut out the paper pattern with scissors. Then take out the non-woven fabric. Cut out the shape of the little fish along the edges of the paper pattern. Next, cut a 10 cm piece of corresponding yarn. Attach the yarn on the tail of the little fish. Use glue to create a curve. Trim any excess yarn tails. Then attach another piece of yarn. After completing, glue the little fish between the main part and the Zongzi Leaf one. Finally, stick the Zongzi Leaf one and the little fish together. Now, the decorations for abalone seafood version are sewn together. Next, embroider bean decorations on the main part of the 8 treasure grains version. The specific quantity and size of the bean decorations can all be chosen according to your own preference. The more rounds you sew, the larger the bean decoration will be. Below, I will demonstrate using a red bean decoration as an example. First, cut a 40 cm piece of corresponding yarn, thread it into the sewing needle. Start below the right eye line of facial expression 2. Embroider 1 red bean decoration. Then, above the eye and slightly to the right, embroider another red bean. Tie off by knotting inside. Trim any excess yarn tails. For the remaining bean decorations, everyone can finish them by following this method. This concludes the explanation of the decorations for the 8 treasure grains version. Up to this point, the entire tutorial for making the Earphone case is completed. If you have any unclear points while crocheting, you can contact with our customer service. Susan's family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.